Hello, good afternoon from the Morningside Arena here in Leicester as the qualifying competition for the MrQ UK Snooker Championship continues. And we've got one of the legends of the game for you this afternoon, Ken Doherty, former world champion, 3 times runner-up in this UK Championship, taking on Welshman Dwayne Jones. Jones has already beaten Mohamed Asif 6-1. This is Ken Doherty's first match. Of course, snooker fans will have enjoyed his words of wisdom from the Champion of Champions in Bolton last week. But now a chance to watch him in action. The winner placed Chris Wakelin, the shootout champion, in the penultimate round of qualifying. Once again, it's a best of 11 match. Hilda Moen's the referee.
Yeah, a new experience for both as well. Dwayne Jones and Ken Doherty playing each other on the Pro Tour for the first time. Dwayne Jones, 30 years of age. He's a top-up player. Nominally an amateur, but we all know he's good enough to be a professional. Finished 5th on the Q School top-up list, so he's getting plenty of starts this season. But overcoming Doherty would be a feather in the cap, even though Ken these days, 54 years of age and very much a veteran.
Yes, he's down at 76 in the world rankings and yet to get past the second round actually of a ranking event this season, but he still loves playing. He puts a lot of practice in as well. Last week when not commentating and in the studio at the Champion of Champions, he was on the practice table. And there you see the fruits of that. A lovely long red to start. One of the great ambassadors of this sport, always speaks well of it, conducts himself properly, and still, as I say, enjoys playing.
Yeah, when you're in his company for a lengthy amount of time, as we were over the last week or so, and we know him very well going back years, of course, the one thing that strikes me about Ken Doherty, off the table, he treats people so well. And it's not put on, it's not an act, not a public persona. That's the way he is. He's just a good guy. And at his best,
16.
Boy, what a competitor. What a competitor.
Well, he's trying to do that roll back the years thing, I guess, today. He's been in 3 UK finals, all of which are pretty extraordinary. In 1994, Stephen Hendry beat him, making 7 centuries. 2001, Ronnie O'Sullivan hammered him 10-1. And then a year later, 2002, he took Mark Williams to a decider. Williams won 10-9. So he played Hendry, O'Sullivan, Williams, all at their absolute peak. Just came out
25.
The wrong side each time in different circumstances. I mean, Hendry 7 centuries, but we were saying last night, weren't we, Phil, at one point, he was only 6-5 up, he'd made 6. So it shows you Ken was sort of stealing the tactical frames.
It was incredible. Hendry just looked over at one point and had to smile. He was dominating the match, yet he was 1 frame in front. He did pull away eventually.
31.
But that's the thing with Ken. It didn't matter to him how he won. He could win very stylishly indeed. But he was just a past master at winning full stop.
38.
So 38 in front. He's going to disturb a few here with this red to left corner. This is a big shot he's playing. Well, that last little kiss has just freed the pink a little here. So he's got some sort of shot at it, but of course he's now opened all the reds up. So he's suddenly become a dangerous table. If he misses this, he could be leaving the lot on for Dwayne Jones. Big shot again. Well, what a start this is, Phil.
As you say, though, Dave, he put in a lot of practice last week. Clearly had no rights to be on the table when the guys involved in the tournament were there, but as the week wore on and fewer players were involved, the tables were available and Doherty took advantage every time.
45.
He had a few minutes off, it seemed. He was downstairs knocking in a few balls.
Well, he set up a great position here to win this frame.
46.
We're going to have a competition, by the way, for tickets. I'll do the question at the start of the next frame. We'll just watch Ken here, see if he can win this one. But there'll be 2 tickets available for a session next week. We'll give you details of that shortly. And do please let us know where around the world you're watching. Best place is through Twitter. If you join us there, you can contact World Snooker Tour at WeAreWST or myself at Dave Hendon. Meanwhile, Ken Doherty has broken down. Yeah, didn't seem to have much angle on that black to start with.
No, he didn't fancy that at all. Lots of hesitation, and look where the cue ball is. That tells us the story that he didn't fancy it, and that's why he played it conservatively.
Eight tables here. There were actually 3 matches that didn't conclude in the opening session. They'll be coming back later. You can watch tables 1 to 4 on Discovery Plus. Terrific red, meanwhile, from Dwayne Jones. So he's in. Looking to profit from the work Ken Doherty's already done, opening the balls up. Yeah, table 2, Scott Donaldson against Thor Chian Leong. Elliot Slesser, Louis Heathcote is table 3. Table 4, Liam Highfield against Ian Burns. And there's also Mark Davis against Gao Yang, Aaron Hill against Craig Steadman, John Astley against Hamad Mir, and David Lilly against Sean O'Sullivan in this session.
Ken Doherty seeded into the second qualifying round. Dwayne Jones had to play in round 1, and he performed nicely, beating Pakistan's Mohammed Asif 6-1. Jones made breaks of 53, 74 and 61, and he could easily clear the table here. By the way, that previous match was rather unusual because although Asif won only 1 frame, he did so with a 138 break. Jones played another legend of the game recently in the Scottish Open qualifiers, Jimmy White. It was a best of 7 frame contest. Jones led 3-1, but White got the verdict.
21.
Dwayne Jones had that run to the semi-finals of the German Masters 2019 in Berlin. That was a pretty extraordinary week for him. He got to experience the 1 table setup there, which is something else. And even though he's not on tour currently, as Phil said, because he's so high up in that top-up list, he is getting opportunities in these tournaments. 29. Actually, without the rankings pressure that tour players might have.
Yeah, I think that's a valid point. He got to the last 16 of this season's European Masters. Had 3 victories in that event. A run that was ended by Kyron Wilson, but he did beat Dominic Dale in the tournament, and Dale's been playing some nice stuff this season.
He's in good form, Dominic, isn't it? We saw him upstairs. He's absolutely buzzing at the performances he's putting in so far.
37.
Now then, Dwayne Jones still on this red to far corner, but we're coming up to kind of the crunch part of the frame really for him. Pots this, you'd fancy him pretty strongly, I think. Nicely done.
38.
Hello to Gary in Lurgan, who says he's watching snooker in his bedroom. And also Rick Tomasi, he's watching in Ottawa in Canada. Good to have you with us.
$45.
Well, as brightly as Ken Doherty started,
52.
Dwayne Jones has taken these very nicely, and the positional shot onto the last red sees his stock rise even more. So the black will take him 14 points in front. That will mean, I should say, yellow, green and brown will get the job done. He's playing confidently, played that one with plenty of side.
60.
Complex shot, made to look easy.
Yeah, and first frames can often be significant in terms of just showing your opponent how good you're feeling, how well you're playing. Ken Doherty, of course, was working on the Champion of Champions last week. He won't have had a lot of time to follow proceedings here at the weekend, but he's seeing it firsthand now. He was in first, going well on 46, missed that black.
$65.
Of course, Dwayne Jones already had a match, which he's won comfortably. 6-1 against Mohamed Asif, so already nicely used to the surroundings here.
69.
And this is a very good start from the Welshman.
A start that underlines just how difficult it is, not merely to play on the Pro Tour, but to be a member of it. Dwayne Jones, an amateur in name only.
Very polished start. This has been fantastic clearance that of 87. Dwayne Jones off to a flyer here against the 3 times UK Championship runner-up Ken Doherty. Well, as I say, there are 8 tables here. There's going to be some matches coming back tonight that were taken off, including one at just 4-2. Lou Hongyu over Martin O'Donnell. 5 each, Sanderson, Lam and Andy Lee. 5-3, Lucas Kleckers over Rod Lawler. So as they can't risk them coming back this afternoon and being taken off again. So it will be tonight, first available tables.
Yes, it's inevitable that you're going to get matches that are suspended. Normally 5-5 or 5-4, but 4-2, that really is extreme. 6 frames played. They started out at 9:30 this morning, and it was a window that extended till, of course, the start of the afternoon, which was 2:30 local time, and just 6 frames played. Apparently the third frame, I believe it was, Dave, lasted over 80 minutes.
Yeah, that'll do it, won't it? Just a few more messages. I think it's Ian Barker. He's in Haywood in Lancashire. He was at Bolton Monday and Tuesday last week. He said it was a fantastic venue. James Marriott in Bicester in the UK. And Darren in Great Yarmouth. So good to have so many of you with us. So good figures earlier on. And we'll be here for the next 2 days doing Table 1 commentary. Then Judgement Day, Wednesday and Thursday, we'll be going around the 4 tables.
Well, at least Doherty now knows what to expect. If he didn't know an awful lot about Dwayne Jones before, he does now.
Now, of course, the players are trying to qualify for the final stages in York. How would you like to be there watching them? We have 2 tickets available for next Monday night, Monday the 27th, 7 p.m. session. So 2 tickets for Monday the 27th, the 7 p.m. session. And our question is, UK Championship has been running since 1977. How many venues has the televised stage been held at? So not the qualifiers, but the final stages. How many different venues over those nearly 5 decades now has this tournament been staged at? You don't have to name them all. You can if you want. We're after the number, and you can send your answers to the World Snooker Tour Twitter X account at WeAreWST. So if you want to enter that competition, come to York next Monday at WeAreWST. Give us your answer. How many main venues have been used for the televised phase of the UK Championship? Well, if Dwayne Jones carries on like this, he'll be there on Saturday in the draw. Terrific pot to the middle. You've got to be so precise to those middle pockets.
He's been playing good level snooker for more than half his life. Former Welsh under-16 captain. From Mountain Ash.
10.
If you're not fortunate enough to win our competition, and by the way, we will have more
11.
during the coverage tonight and tomorrow, but there are still some tickets available for York. Many of the sessions are sold out, but there are some still available from just £22. And also for the first time this year, there are VIP packages available from the quarterfinals onwards. You get a 3-course meal, the best seats in the house, a photo with the trophy, a lot more besides. Check out wst.tv/tickets.
There must be something that motivates Dwayne Jones when he plays commentators.
30.
Back in the 2014 China Open, he had a win over Joe Perry, 5-2, made breaks of 75, 74, 137 and 141. He's clearly capable. And again, I'll reiterate what I said at the end of the first frame, Dave. When players like him aren't on tour, it just goes to show the strength in depth in snooker today. It's more extraordinary than it's ever been.
It is, but he lost position there, so he just had to play safe. Yeah, I mean, you know, we get results coming through, and you don't always, obviously, appreciate how well people have played, even in defeat in some of these matches. Doherty, okay, you have to negotiate this, but he'll be happy to see Dwayne Jones lose position there because it was looking possibly like 2-0.
Ken Doherty was watching anxiously there as the red went up towards the middle pocket, but I think it's travelled far enough to be okay from his perspective. Jones's best 2 triumphs: he won the Welsh Amateur Championship in 2012, and the following year he won the IBSF World Six Reds Championship.
Good afternoon to John Carley in Wexford, who's supporting Ken. And of course he's still a huge name in Irish sport. Steve, I'm going to say Mackay, watching from the University Library in Bristol while trying to do my coursework, loving the commentary. Well, thank you, Steve. Good luck with the course.
Man after my own heart. When I was at university in Bradford, we used to go up to the TV rooms and watch the snooker up there. I was in Bradford, actually, undergraduate, when Tony Knowles shocked the world by beating Steve Davis 10-1 in the first round of the World Championship. That dates me, Dave.
It does. That's being old.
Thanks.
Ken Doherty, of course, has got a lot of experience. This is actually his 34th UK Championship. His first was back in 1990 in his debut season. Not good, I'm afraid. Things have all unravelled a bit here for the Irishman.
The first bad mistake from Jones. The way he was cueing, the way he was playing, I did not see that one coming. As is always the case, when someone impressively wins the opening frame, the other guy has to make his presence felt. That's what Doherty must do here. Make Jones realise that if he commits mistakes,
6.
Doherty will punish. You would never say that Ken Doherty was a similar player to Mark Allen, who was crowned as Champion of Champions winner last night, but in one respect they're very similar indeed. Mark Allen has got a wonderful temperament, very cool, And when he was near the top of the game, Ken Doherty was exactly the same.
Well, he ended the remarkable run of Stephen Hendry at the Crucible, who'd won, of course, 5 world titles in a row until Ken beat him in the 97 final.
Yeah, it doesn't mention that a lot when he's around, Stephen, does he? I think it was only 12 times last week, wasn't it? A little down on the previous tournament we did.
Yeah, he won 6 ranking titles, but he was in 18 finals, so there was some near misses as well. He, as I mentioned, 3 times runner-up in this UK Championship, twice runner-up in the Masters as well. He got to 2 of the World Finals. So for a spell, he really was one of the top 4 or 5 in the world.
19.
That was a better shot than it might have appeared. But this red to middle is no gimme. Across the nab.
20.
Recently, when Judd Trump won his 3rd consecutive ranking title, he became only the 5th player to do so. Ken Doherty so nearly had that distinction. He won back-to-back and then lost in the final of the Scottish Open in a bruising encounter with
25.
Peter Ebdon. But to win 2 on the trot emphasises what a match player he was.
26. 31. 32. 37.
I must say, from the evidence of the first match on this table today and now the first couple of frames in this contest, the table's playing very nicely indeed.
Now, fallen under the table it seems. Okay, no harm done. Hilda Moans has rescued the situation. So he's getting close. The blue puts him 35 in front. So realistically he's going to need 2 of the 3 reds.
Nine. 50.
'Well, it's sort of the opposite of the first frame. Doherty made the running Jones took advantage. This frame Jones was in. Ken Doherty's made a very nice
57.
break here. This will make him feel good. Missed that one, so he's not quite done yet, but
67.
a good 57 to lead by 43, 35 available. Well, in fact, it is done because Dwayne Jones perhaps doesn't want to get dragged into the tactical stuff, has conceded. So one apiece, and well, it's been a good start, hasn't it? 2 good frames.
Just thinking, you know, Dave, Dwayne Jones, proud Welshman, would love to compete in the season's Welsh Open, which is the final event of the Bedvictor Series. That's taking place in lovely Llandudno in the new year. If you want to go to a tournament where you're going to see great action, but also be in a lovely environment, Llandudno is the place. We had the pleasure of going there for many a tournament, and we always enjoyed our visits. Tickets available, of course, for the oldest of the home nations events, the Northern Ireland Open, the English Open, and indeed the Scottish Open. Much more recent additions to the calendar than the Welsh, which has been around for 30 years now.
WST.tv/tickets is the place to go to, and also it's worth saying, by the way, for next year's UK Championship, if you want to get in for next year, tickets for York in 2024 will be available from 9 AM on Saturday, December the 2nd, but you must register by 9 AM on the 1st to make sure you're in the priority window for the first chance to buy tickets. So if you head to WST.tv for the details, you just need to fill in a form to register,
Jones to break.
and then you'll be in that window with a chance to get in early and get your tickets for next year. Frame 3, 1 each. It's been pretty lively. Dwayne Jones 87 in the first, Ken Doherty 57 in the second.
Yes, that's after making a 46 in the first and breaking down by missing a slowly rolled black off its spot, which cost him dear. So it's been a good standard, as Dave said. Don't know whether you heard the news last week about the 147 prizes in the Triple Crown Series events. Basically, if someone this season makes 2 147s in UK Championship, World Championship or Masters, any combination of those 3, they'll receive £147,000 as Jones misses the red to middle. What made me think of it was because Mark Davis, who's playing this afternoon, he's up against Gao Yang of China. Mark Davis one year made 2 147s in the Championship League. Didn't receive 147,000 though. It just goes to show you can do it. It's possible. Well, maybe not a 147 here, but certainly a big break is on now. Doherty has made that error.
Yeah, it could be a big error, and don't think that Ken Doherty is here just to sort of see everyone and be part of it. He still wants to win, and he'll be disappointed if he's punished for that last mistake.
Six. Seven.
Played with check, which you saw took off the second cushion It helped directionally, but of course when you play with check side it slows the pace of the cue ball. That's why he's on the incorrect side of the blue. And one positional misjudgment so often leads to another.
Yeah, it is really, isn't it, all about controlling that cue ball. The key to this game.
This is potable, of course, and he will be on a high value colour, but potting to the middles at acute angles is not recommended. The targets are so tiny, so narrow. Oh, and yes, the decision to run for cover has proved entirely right.
Chris Wakelin awaits in the next round, the penultimate qualifying round. Of course, he's had a great time of it of late. Got to the final of the Northern Ireland Open in Belfast. Played at the Champion of Champions last week, although John Higgins beat him pretty comfortably. But he's waiting and likes this venue. This is where he won the shootout last season. This Morningside Arena in Leicester. Wow, he just hung on.
The shootout will take place in early December in Swansea, and you can experience that party atmosphere down there. It's a world ranking event, very important for many players. Both of these two are involved. Ken Doherty has drawn Matthew Stevens in the first round. Dwayne Jones will play Jensen Kendrick.
Well, I thought it was supposed to be the luck of the Irish. He didn't really get it there, and he's left the red on. Young Aaron Hill, of course, another Irish professional who's had a good time of it, got to the quarterfinals in Wuhan. He's 1-0 down currently to Craig Stebbin.
Wanted to come around on the other side of the blue to leave it on. Now, is there enough room between blue and bulk cushion to lay what would be a horrible snooker? I think we've got the answer.
Dwayne Jones, 1.
As Doherty tickles into the pack, or at least tries to.
Miss.
He had the
Dwayne Jones.
correct direction but not the length. I can tell you, good start for David Lilly, who turned professional late in life after a very distinguished amateur career. He's 2-0 up on Sean O'Sullivan. More pace injected by Doherty to make sure of reaching.
Ken Doherty's great hero was Alex Higgins, and in the interval we'll be bringing you some footage from, amazingly 40 years ago now, of his final against Steve Davis, which went to a decider. I won't spoil who won, I mean it's quite easy to find out now, but you can enjoy the final moments of that in the interval. Ken, I think it's fair to say, is a rather less combustible character than Alex, but it takes all sorts.
I can't think of many people who are more combustible. The hurricane, though, had a profound effect on everyone's life who were involved in snooker. He was the original people's champion in the 70s. The most popular figure in the game at a time when the game boomed.
Yes, I mean, you know, everyone's got their own opinion on him, and they're not all positive, but what an extraordinary character to have in a sport. Anyway, here we are 40 years on, and the sport is in good health, and Dwayne Jones is lining up this long red. Yeah, nicely done. It's not a theory, it's almost a fact. No frame of snooker's ever helped with the blue being off its spot, particularly where it is there. You know, it's so accessible on its spot in the middle of the table. So this is not straightforward, is it? You know, the black isn't great, the pink isn't great either, really. He's looking at the yellow here to get back towards reds, but it's going to be hard work, this, without developing balls. Well, that'll do. That's worked out very nicely.
3.
Of course, not as intended, but he will gladly accept it. Dinky little shot that, played it well.
11.
And at this level, when someone gets a piece of positional luck, it can be very profitable.
12. $19. 20. 22. 23.
Double kissed the red into a potting position. Very nice angle as well for his next position. We saw the red there hit the cushion before it went into the pocket. That's because it was played at a very quiet pace. Is he on the red? I think from his body language, everything's a-okay. You can tell immediately whether shoulders slump or not.
Well, it's been a very fluent contest, hasn't it? And both players have been positive. In this case, Dwayne Jones looking to just kill this off now. 63 in front. So this red, and it should be 2-1 to him. Yeah, Ken Doherty actually nearly fluked a red. He left it to right corner, and nothing's gone for him since then in this frame.
Very impressed with Jones, though. I'm sure
54.
that would apply to you as well, Dave. He's looked good and played it at a really attractive pace.
55.
Yeah, I do think, I mean, obviously if you come in an early round, the first round, then you're going to win more matches. But if you can get through that opening match, obviously you settle in, you've got a bit of confidence, you're used to the surroundings, the player you're playing is cold, all those things are in your favour. In theory,
62.
seems to be borne out from the way Dwayne Jones has played here so far today.
63.
Well, he's missed that red, so no century, but a very solid 70 from the Welshman Dwayne Jones, who is in front again against Ken Doherty 2-1, and it's been a real high-quality contest, this. Now, just to say, if you are going to the Barbican for the UK Championship, do look out for people wearing purple T-shirts from World Snooker Tour's charity partner, Jessie May Children's Hospice at Home. They do amazing work for children with life-limiting conditions. So please support them if you can with donations. And indeed, it was announced recently that Karen Wilson and Jamie Jones are now ambassadors for Jessie May.
Other scores for you. Scott Donaldson, who won the Invitation Championship League here at the Morningside Arena a few years ago. He's 1-1 with Rory Thor of Malaysia. Hamid Mir 2-0 up on John Astley. Elliot Slesser, who you can see there in the background sitting in his chair, he's taken the first frame from Louis Heathcote, who's from Leicester, right here. Ian Burns 2-0 up on Liam Highfield. Mark Davis and Gao Yang at 1-1. Craig Steadman, as Dave said earlier, has won the first frame from Aaron Hill.
You can follow the UK Championship, of course, on the World Snooker Tour social media channels. Facebook, Twitter, or people also call it X, of course, now. I think it is called X. Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, match clips, interviews, behind-the-scenes content, and a lot more. And also look out for the MrQ Q Challenge with a chance to win a new cue made by the legend that is John Paris.
His cues are like playing shots with silk.
Yeah, he's you know, got the respect, of course, of everybody in the game, and I know that Stephen Hendry was saying actually he's just got a couple of cues from him, although he didn't enter this UK Championship. Anyway, here's Ken looking to level up. He's not done that much wrong so far, but finds himself 2-1 down. This is the last frame before the mid-session interval.
Very good attempt.
One.
One of Ken Doherty's many distinctions, the first player from the Republic of Ireland to capture a world ranking title.
9.
Welsh Open 30 years ago. Now I can hear some of you thinking, well, what about Patsy Fagan at the inaugural UK Championship? Well, Fagan did win that, but it was only open to residents of the UK, players based here, so it wasn't carrying ranking points back then. So Doherty was the trailblazer.
Well, it's one of those cutbacks that you do see missed, and I think he was under a little bit more pressure to get it. But the form Jones has shown, developing red's probably going to leave him a chance. So it's a rather slow walk back to the seat there from Ken. And the question is, does he get out of it again before the interval?
Incorrect side of the blue, but I think he might have a terrific angle to pop the black and career into the bunch if he so desires. More of a float into the bunch.
8.
But it worked just the same. A good shot here to glue the break together, and 3-1 could be looming.
Well, this time it goes astray, so Ken Doherty does get another chance, and it's a pretty good one as he comes back to the table. Of course, he did make that 57 break in frame 2.
The red that we saw Jones miss, that's a pressure shot. The ones where the pros identify, where they realise
6.
that could be the linchpin shot, the one that could be the most important in the frame. That's when the pressure heightens, and so often you see them missed. Certainly lower down the ranks.
Doherty, 13.
Doherty remained staring at the cue ball, seeing whether there's a path past the green to the red closest to the pocket, and I think from his demeanour there might well be. Dave, I'm sure you'll agree, just a few ragged edges starting to appear in the game of Jones.
Yeah, and he's given Ken Doherty now what looks like a very good chance, already 22 in front, to level up. I think he'd be delighted, Ken, with 2-2 at the interval, if he could take the frame out here. Oh dear, well, that's a very disappointing miss straight away. Can't quite understand that. Maybe just thinking a little bit about what was to come and just sort of took the pot for granted a little bit.
And adding insult to injury, he's developed the black. It will go now into at least one of its two natural pockets. But again, similar kind of scenario to a little earlier with the red to balk. Jones identified that as a crunch ball and he failed.
I think there'll be more mistakes in this frame than the first three put together. It's a huge tournament this, and okay, we're not at the final stages, but the UK Championship has a great history and a great cachet, and of course a lot of money riding on it. So of course it's one of those events everyone wants to do well in. it's a good safety this. Found the book cushion with the cue ball. Couple of 3-0s, Hamad Mir over John Astley and Ian Burns over Liam Highfield. We've got 2-0 leads for David Lilly over Sean O'Sullivan, Elliot Slessor over Louis Heathcote, Craig Steadman over Aaron Hill, Mark Davis 2-1 over Gao Yang. 1-1 Scott Donaldson and Thor Chian Long.
A little heavy-handed, that.
Well, just flicked off the blue. A fuller kiss, and that would have been trouble for Ken, and probably an easy-ish starter for Dwayne Jones. It's got a bit tense this match now. Dwayne Jones trying to get the 2-frame interval lead. Ken, of course, trying to peg him back. While we watch this exchange, I'll reiterate our quiz question, which is for 2 tickets to next Monday night. That's the 27th, 7 p.m. at York. 2 tickets to Monday the 27th, the 7 p.m. session at York. The question is, how many venues have the final stages, the televised stage of the UK Championship, been held at over the years? So we started in 1977. How many different venues have the televised phase been held at? You can send your answer to the World Snooker Tour Twitter account at WeAreWST. That's at WeAreWST, and a winner will be chosen later on.
Yes, and there'll be another competition this evening during the match involving Ding Junhui. Again, that will be 2 tickets to York next week. That will be for the Tuesday evening.
Yes, and we obviously recognise there'll be people watching outside of the UK who won't be able to get to York, you know, won't be able to enter. But tomorrow we will have competition for viewers who are not UK based with a different prize.
Dwayne Jones might have got the prize here.
Well, it's been a different sort of frame. There've been quite a few mistakes. It's looked like an edgy frame. The players have been, you know, visibly tense, but it's up to one or other of them to step up, and Jones has the chance to do that here.
If he is 3-1 down, Doherty, with all of his vast experience, won't panic, but he'll certainly be concerned. Especially given the way that Jones, certainly in the first 3 frames, has performed.
12. 30. $18.
And by potting this red, the black spot is liberated.
$19. $26.
What we've noticed about Jones so far is that when needs be, he's not afraid to put side on the ball. Applies it nicely.
27.
Just a touch of
34.
screw in reverse side there to get up onto the red to balk. He's missed a shot similar to this in this frame already. The red in question being one to the green pocket. That though was a little easier.
Well, you could see what he was trying to do, obviously, develop those reds, but he took his eye off the pot, which is the sort of cardinal sin, really, in that situation.
Yes, he caught it far too thick.
So just 13 points in it, in this fourth frame, the closest frame, and the most error-strewn, you've got to say, of the four so far. Tonight we start the third round of qualifying, so Ding Junhui against Daniel Wells will be the main match on table one. We've got the likes of Noppen Senkam, Ricky Walden, Si Jiawei among the seedy players in action. Fang Zhengyi, Tepchara Nu, Wu Yiza, Matthew Stevens as well. Matthew Stevens, of course, champion 20 years ago at York in 2003, beat Stephen Hendry 10-8 in the final.
But I'll tell you what, he's got a tough assignment this evening, taking on Robbie Williams, who this season, in my opinion, I think you'll agree, Dave, playing some of the best snooker of his career.
Yeah, we saw him beat John Higgins, didn't we, on the TV table at the British Open.
In goes the 13th red, wants the cue ball to stop. It's going to be awkward close to a cushion. Very close.
Blue ball. Six.
Well, he's given himself some sort of chance here. Pulling the frame back and levelling up. Red wriggles in again.
Seven.
Horrible shots to play these. So often you see this kind of shot overcut. We thought in the third frame of the Champion of Champions final yesterday, a similar shot from Mark Allen on the pink had been overcut, but it wobbled in off the jaws. No issue for Ken Doherty.
Well, Dwayne Jones was looking good, particularly I thought in that last frame with the 70 break, and he had chances in this one. Of course, he missed that blue, trying to disturb the reds just off the top cushion. And what a golden chance now for the Dubliner here to achieve parity at the interval. And I think he'd be more than satisfied with 2-2 because he's made mistakes himself. Everyone knows Ken as, you know, the sort of life and soul of the party, which he is, but make no mistake, he's still a very, very serious competitor out on the table with great pride in his performance.
90.
Green, brown and blue needed for 2-2.
Thin cut with check side. Not simple, but he made it look that way. I think it's fair to say that Jones has been the better player, but he's got nothing to show for it.
So Ken Doherty will be delighted to have made the most of this chance. It could have been 3-1 down for sure.
37.
But he just turned the screw with that nice little clearance to the pink. Ken Doherty levels up with Dwayne Jones at 2-2, and there's still, of course, a possible 7 frames for them to play when they return 15 minutes from now. Well, coming up in about 7 or 8 minutes, we're going to be looking at the other matches being played. We'll give you some details of those, but now we're going to go back 40 years to the 1983 UK Championship. The final was a decider between Steve Davis and Alex Higgins.
28. 29.
This is the one. This black to lead Steve leading snookers. And this red, I would think, to clinch the match.
Points in front. It seems that it's third time unlucky for Steve Davis, but third time lucky for Alex Hurricane Higgins, who dons the Coral UK Championship title for the first time. on the way to the pocket. Not sufficient legs. Steve took the advantage in the first session with a whitewash over Alex. 7 frames to 0. Alex replied. And so the congratulations and the commiserations. The UK Championship final, one of the best on record, is over. And Alex Higgins is the UK champion 1983.
Ladies and gentlemen, would you please remain seated for the presentation of the trophy by Mr. Ken Tucker, Managing Director of Corals. Ladies and gentlemen, the 1983 Coral UK champion, Alex Higgins. The runner-up, Steve Davis. Twice in the final before Alex, and now UK champion. He must be on top of the world tonight.
I'm a little bit stunned, to be quite frank. I'm very unaccustomed to winning.
Well, what extraordinary scenes, and that's 40 years old now. Alex Higgins getting the win over Steve Davis. It was a popular win, as you saw, at Preston Guildhall, and one of the many iconic moments from the UK Championship. But what about this year's qualifying? We know that it's 2-2 between Dwayne Jones and Ken Doherty. Lots more has been happening around the tables. I'm joined once again by World Snooker Tour's Sam Fletcher, who's been keeping both of his eyes on all the action, Sam.
I have. I've got 2 eyes, David, and I've switched my mic on today as well. Yeah, we'll begin with table 2. Scott Donaldson opened with a century. He lost frame 2, 66-69. Those ones hurt, but he leads Rory Thor 2-1. Elliot Slessor is 3-0 up on Louis Heathcote, who is, of course, of Leicester, which is where we are. Liam Highfield and Ian Burns. Ian Burns leads 4-0. He's completely dominating that one.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, you know, they're all great players, obviously, but it's a bit of an upset. I think I always associate qualifiers with being close matches. Now, of course, the one we're watching here between Dwayne Jones and Ken Doherty is, but 4-0 Ian Burns, something of a surprise. But anyway, continue.
Yeah, I mean, the match that you're watching, David, is a fascinating one, isn't it? Really, a player who probably should be a pro every season, but is an amateur, and Ken, who's still got a lot of strength to his game, hasn't he? What's that match been like so far, David?
Been very high quality, yeah. You know, we had some good breaks. First 3 frames, Dwayne Jones had 87 and 70. Ken had a 57. Fourth frame got a bit edgy. You know, one's trying to get the lead at the interval, the other's trying to draw level. But, well, Ken, you know, used a bit of experience and won it on the colours.
Yeah, I did hear you talking earlier on commentary, David, about Ken's application in practice. Did see him on the practice table for half an hour before the match, and it's great to see that he still enjoys applying himself in that way.
Well, even last week, as you know, Sam, you know, when play's finished, sometimes we like to visit the bar for a refreshment or two.
I've never been involved in that.
Well, and Ken would often say, "Oh, well, I'm going to practice first. I might see you later." But you know, he would when the program finished, he would go and do his half an hour. So he did try and get as much work in as possible last week.
Great. Well, I'll try and get some work in here, David. I'll continue with the table, shall I? Table 5, Mark Davis, Gao Yang. Mark Davis leads 2-1. Aaron Hill, Craig Steadman. Let me check on that. I think Craig Steadman is 2-0 to the good. 2 to the good, yes. John Astley, Hamad Mir. Hamad Mir is dominating that one. That is 3-0 to Mir. And finally, table 8. David
just gone 4-0. Sorry, I just noticed.
Has it gone 4-0?
Yeah.
Well done. You're looking at my screen better than I am. And David Lilly, Sean O'Sullivan is 2-1.
Now, of course, this is going out, as we know, on Discovery Plus, but also on your World Snooker Tour's Facebook, YouTube channels, and a lot of people watching in lots of different places.
Tis, yes. Facebook very kindly offers me immediate analytical data. YouTube doesn't at this point. It is also a brilliant platform. But, yes, we had 80,000 viewers on Facebook for our first stream. And, yeah, it's really interesting, David. We were talking off mic earlier about the different territories that are watching. I know you're getting fans posting, tweeting, replying with where they're watching, which is great to see. I can see exactly where people are watching. We've got 18,000 of those 80,000 Thailand, which is very common for us. Very big territory. They love watching live snooker. We've got 9,000 in the UK, 9,000 in Pakistan. And then we've got some interesting countries which maybe you wouldn't expect. Myanmar is actually a really big territory for us. We've got 3,000 watching there, 3,000 in Hong Kong, that's no surprise, 2,000 in Laos, 2,000 in Morocco. Amina Miri was, of course, the man who changed everything for us in Morocco. We had about 50,000 fans on Facebook when he delighted us. And who could forget his match at the shootout, David?
Well, not Michael Holt, because he went on to win the tournament, didn't he?
And finally 2,000 from Australia, yeah. So, and just in terms of age categories, 11,000 under 25s, which is great to see.
You were that once, weren't you? Not that too long ago. Not anymore.
Very recently, David. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Sam. And yeah, it's great to see so many people from around the world tuning in. And thank you for your update. And we'll continue our coverage of Ken Doherty and Dwayne Jones in just a couple of minutes' time.
Thank you, David.
So the players are back and it's set up perfectly. 2-2 between Dwayne Jones and Ken Doherty as the second half of this match in round 2 qualifying for the MrQ UK Snooker Championship gets underway. Best of 11. The winner plays Chris Wakelin, the shootout champion, in round 3 of 4. And Phil Yates has made way once again for Stephen Hallworth. And it was a good break in, wasn't it, from Ken Doherty? I think he was probably second best up to that point, but he just showed his class at the right moment.
He did, yeah, and we was just saying off air that that last red that Ken potted down the rail is a lot more of a trickier shot than it may look on the screen. It's a cut back into a blind pocket. It's one of those you've got to really commit to, and he did do, and he deserved to get everything he did from that clearance. And as you say, it's teed it up nicely now, 2 each in a race to 6, all to play for. I think of the two, Ken will definitely be feeling a little bit better going into that interval, because I think Dwayne was probably the slight better player in that opening mini session, but he's only come out of it 2 each. I wonder how much of a psychological effect that will have on him.
Yeah, so much experience under his belt. This is his 34th UK Championship, so he's got all those years to call on, of course. 1990s first, 3 times finalist. I think as well, I mean, obviously he's still playing, but also because he does so much commentary, he's very much keeping up with the sort of the way maybe the game is changing, and he'll have his own views on the way the different top players play now.
Foul, miss. Dwayne Jones fault.
Dwayne choosing not to have the cue ball replaced there is probably wise, because had Ken dropped into the back of the pack, he may, if he hadn't have left a touching ball, it may have been a more difficult safety shot. So choosing to have a go at this red. Oh, he's been a bit unlucky there. It was difficult to control the cannon to the second red, and it's gone in the way of the black.
Yellow ball. Dwayne Jones, 1.
Well, it's quite a flowing start. The first 3 frames, we had substantial breaks in all of them, but it may, I suppose, become a little more tense the further into it we go.
Yeah, it's a funny one really, because if Dwayne was sat at home, he'd be saying to himself, it's a bit of a free shot this for him. He's obviously playing as a Q School top up in the event, and he's won a game already. quite emphatically as well his opening round match, so it's almost a bit of a free hit for him, but when you're out there in the thick of it, it certainly wouldn't feel like that. He would definitely be feeling the pressure the longer this game goes on. And of course, Ken's had a bit of a struggle this season as well, only a few first round victories, albeit he's had some pretty tough opening round matches. So the longer this game goes on, they'll both start to feel it.
Well, Doherty has a chance here. Yeah, Jones just started to make a few errors in that pre-interval frame. It's almost the sort of the chance for 3-1 was what was putting pressure on, and if it comes down to a test of temperament, I guess you'd have to favour the man at the table now with all his experience.
1. 7.
Well, he's flicked the red away from the black, which helps. If he can top this through and leave the black, it may be a decent little opportunity this for Ken.
8.
Yeah, he's one good pot away here, this black. It's a bit of a pressure pot, but if he gets it, they're all there. Nicely played.
15.
Yeah, I think, you talk to Ken, he still accepts that, okay, he's at the end of his career, or much nearer the end than the beginning, but he still loves going out there, loves getting the
16.
dress suit on and just being part of these big tournaments and testing himself, really, at this stage of his life, 54 years of age. Okay, what sort of performance can I put in? And if he could win this match, he'd be, well, 2 wins away from York.
Twenty-three. 24.
He's just up in the tempo a fraction here, trying to get a little bit of rhythm going. Try and free up that arm, try and create some chances and make some breaks in one visits.
29. 30. 37. 38. 45.
Well, the cannon to that pack looked impossible to go wrong, and he is on a red here, but he's not as nicely as he would have liked. The cue ball's travelling away now, so just needs to mind his business here. Just be careful with this one. Played it well, and he's had a nice flick on the blue as well.
41.
So at least by 46. There's a couple of reds on cushions which won't bother him with the lead he's got. So he's looking good here. Just needs to carry on for a few more minutes. Try and attend to these open reds, and it should be 3-2 to him, and he would be in front for the first time.
And that was a nice shot from Ken. Had to get top side of the blue there, just to, as you say, try and finish this job off. Couldn't have put that cue ball any better with his hand. So this now really is his chance to get this frame.
Well, this will make him feel good. This is a nice fluent performance in this frame from the 1997 world champion. If he is to make a century, he's going to have to develop these couple of these safe reds, and that's what he's attempted to do there. He sort of pushed it a little bit safe again, actually, and he's left himself a tricky black, but the frame's over anyway. Oh, nicely done, very nicely done, and he is on this red.
79.
Well, this is what's called rolling back the years. This is brilliant.
Yeah, vintage Ken. He's made this look very easy. Still half a chance of making a century break as well, which will be lovely to see.
All about getting on this last red if he's going to make that ton. Well, it's a shame. The red stays out, but it was a fine break of 95. Very classy stuff again from the darling of Dublin, Ken Doherty, who for the first time is in front in this match at 3-2. Well, very nice to watch that. Just a shame, I guess, that he didn't go on to make the century.
Of course, there's lots of people all around the world that are tuned in. Don't forget, send any questions or comments into myself or Dave on Twitter, or X as they call it now, at David Hendon, at Stephen Hallworth with a V. We'll try and get through as many as we can.
Yeah, I'm at Dave Hendon. If you send it to David Hendon, it might go to someone who's not interested in any of this. Might want to answer niche questions about snooker. You never know, they might, but it seems unlikely. Of course, there are 8 tables in operation here, and still we've got Hamad Mir looking good. Of course, he beat Judd Trump at the British Open, and he's 4-0 and very close to going 5-0 up against John Astley. He's not quite done yet, that 5th frame. In fact, 4-1, I apologise, John Astley's won a frame, but even so, Hamad Mir in the ascendancy. Aaron Hill, he had that great run in Wuhan. He got to the quarterfinals, but he's struggling at the moment, 3-0 down to Craig Steadman. Scott Donaldson from Perth in Scotland is 3-1 up against Thor Chan Leong, also known as Rory Thor. Tonight, Ding Junhui against Daniel Wells will be a very interesting one on table 1. Of course, Ding was runner-up last year, but he's dropped out the top 16 recently. In fact, Zhang Anda winning that tournament, the International Championship in Tianjin, that knocked him out. Ian Burns having a real good run of it, 5-0 over Liam Highfield. Just made 118 in frame 5.
Been a little bit fortunate there, Dwayne. That red that he played safe off came across the table and cannoned another red that the cue ball looked destined to make contact with. He was up pretty quick off the shot, but as it turns out, the cannon to the red meant the cue ball had a clear path back to baulk, and he's put Ken in a bit of trouble here. He'll have to try and rest on a red.
Yeah, it's just awkward. Cue ball on that side cushion. He was looking really good at 2-1. He did have chances, certainly, to win the fourth. He missed a blue off the spot. And not quite as assured since then.
Big shot this. This is very brave to take this brown on. Yeah, it was a difficult pot that was from under the side cushion, knowing that he was going to be leaving the red that he played for. Felt he had to take that brown on, try and make something happen. Can't blame him for that. Now, how can Ken respond after that great 95 break in the previous frame?
Six. Seven. 12. Ken Doherty,
Well, okay,
12.
the break ends, but it's just a sense, and I think Ken senses it as well, that he's on top at the moment and he's determined not to leave any sort of chance here. Try and really get Dwayne Jones under it, force an error, and another opening himself.
Nice shot from Ken, cutting off the right side of the table. Dwayne's only got this one red to go at.
Yeah, so slight stalemate here with reds towards the bulk end. Ian Burns has won 6-0, so that didn't take very long. It's Liam Highfield.
That's a great result for Ian. Liam's a class player. Ian's played very well in that game.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say, I'm not saying I didn't think Ian Burns could win that, but I didn't see 6-0 coming.
Oh, Ken needs that red to pull up, and it's not going to. That's a poor safety shot from Ken. Just trying to send the red to the side rail and overhit it a fraction. And the previous shot, Dwayne actually promoted the black off the side cushion from a touching ball as well, so it was all in the cunning plan.
Well, again,
Jones,
another miss from Dwayne Jones. Just on Ian Burns. Said he won 6-0. So you see the miss again. He had breaks of 77, 74, 54, 118 and 94. So it's about as comprehensive as it gets, really.
1.
Now then, Ken Doherty looking at where he wants to make contact here to get the reds into play. off the blue. He's having a look to check for plants as well. Didn't want to knock a red in this right corner.
Well, if that's not straight, that might not be
6.
too bad. You can get enough of the cue ball here to try and get the cue ball out of there. Black pots as well. Oh, he had plenty of angle. Great shot. Top side of the blue, that's perfect.
Well, he's definitely on top, just in the balance of the way things have gone. He looks the more confident of the two. So it's time to try and press that advantage home. Made a really good 95 in the last. He could have been a century, missed the last red. Of course, we saw 150 something win last night. Dominic Dale beat young Stan Moody. There was something of an age gap there. 17-year-old Stan. Dominic in his early 50s, and he plays actually another 50 something. Anthony Hamilton tomorrow.
Twenty-eight.
So we've had a comment in from Vaughan Coventry who says that why does age make a difference when playing snooker? As long as you can walk around the table and you can see what you're looking at, then surely you can pop balls, or is it to do with the hours of practice? And, well, yeah, you pretty much answered your own question there, I suppose. It is, if you can, in my opinion, if you can still see all right and your eyesight is good, then there is no reason why you can't play snooker to any age. It's not a physical sport, as we know, and if you're fit and healthy and you want to play, I suppose you could go on for as long as you want, really. If you've still got that desire to practice and put the odd few hours in, albeit you're never going to play as much as you did as a youth, I suppose, but if you still love the game, there's no reason why you can't do well.
Ken Doherty just lost position there, so had to play safe. Yeah, I mean, I think older players, they do say that they do start to feel the pressure more than you sort of feel as youngsters. So that is an issue. And even John Higgins, you know, one of the all-time greats, you know, he's 48, and he's no doubt in the last couple of years in big matches he started to slightly feel it, which means it can happen to anybody. Eyesight's an issue. Dominic actually was saying upstairs that just had a little issue with his fingers, and just little things that happen as you get older, little aches and pains that you pick up, maybe also play a part. But look at Jimmy White, he's 61. I know he didn't win the other day, but he's probably more enthusiastic about snooker than ever.
And you just have to take one look at Ken to see that still winning matches keeps you young. He's not aged a day, Ken. Still loves it. Still can play to a great level as well. And if you can still play to that level, then why should you stop?
he's been on the back foot for a couple of frames, but a chance has now arrived for Dwayne Jones, and it's a good one, really. Remember, early on in the match, he was looking good. He had breaks of 87 and 70 to lead 2-1.
Seven. 13. 14. 20.
Well, you're not on the red to the left of the black, as you can see. So that's disappointment.
Jones, 20.
26 in the frame.
Yeah, he'll be disappointed with that, Dwayne. He had a lot of room for error there. He could have even overrun the position, knowing that he had the red down the rail at worst, but not to be. Ken doesn't want to try and be too clever here with his safety shot. He's got the lead in this frame, but the reds are all in open play, so he's just got to try and maybe buy himself a shot here. Yeah, there wasn't really too much he could have done there without handing the initiative back to Dwayne. Another comment on Twitter's come in from Donal. He says, given that players near the bottom of the rankings, and it'd be interesting to get your views on this, Dave, as well. Given that the players near the bottom of the rankings are barely making minimum wage, he says, what do you think about cutting the tour to 96 or even 64? And first of all, I think it's worth noting that World Snooker have addressed that. And yes, I can talk from experience. The first couple of seasons I got on the tour, I didn't make any money. And it was tough, and I had to have a job as well as playing snooker, but there is that guaranteed income now which acts as a safety blanket, if you like, for players that that worst case scenario you lose every first round game. I suppose you're not going to be down come the end of the season, so it's a lot better than it used to be, and I'm not sure that cutting the tour would be a good thing. Do you agree, Dave?
No, I don't think cutting the tour is the answer, for the very simple reason that players now right down the ranking list are winning tournaments. We've had players in the 80s, Jordan Brown and Fang Zhengyi, winning tournaments. Zhang Anda, I was thinking the other day, when he got to the final of the English Open, he was 55 in the world, so he's basically in the cut-off zone. If he's there at the end of the season, he just stayed on tour. And of course he went on and won the International Championship. If anything, I think maybe the tour should be extended, and I think to me, and this is only a personal issue, a personal opinion, I think the issue's been the flat draw, actually, that has seen talented players making their way, coming up against literally the O'Sullivans, the Trumps, the Selbys in round one. It's very hard, particularly when there's no money available to make progress. So as we watch Ken Doherty here, looking good to wrap this frame up. Maybe this format at this event and the World Championship, 144 players, maybe that could be the model for all of them. He's missed that though. Wow, that was a golden chance to win this frame. He didn't really have to do much else, just pop the red and the green, and that would have been enough. So yeah, maybe maybe if anything, there should be more players. There's still, at the bottom end, you know, you'd have to be winning matches to win money, but you wouldn't be coming up against the real top players in round one. That's been, I think, an issue the last couple of years for some players.
Yeah, I completely agree, and I think having played for a number of seasons now on the tour and having played in both formats, you know, I had some stinkers of a draw the first couple of years I got on the tour, which, you know, at the time I was loving because I was coming up against the Selbys and the Murphys, the Dings, the John Higgins. I was getting hammered every game and I was going home empty-handed, but I was enjoying it. It was priceless experience. But as sort of my career progressed, if you like, I soon started to realise that the mortgage man was still going to come knocking at the end of the month, and if you're not winning games, you're not earning the money. And that's where my argument favours for the tiered structure, because you're playing players of a similar standard, a similar ranking, and you can sort of earn your place into those rounds to play the top players. I think it's a much better system to go for.
Well, meanwhile, this is a delicate stage of this frame, of this match actually, because Ken Doherty there had a golden chance. He really did to go 4-2 up, just needed red and colour, missed the red. The yellow's awkward here. He's not straightforward, but Dwayne Jones maybe thought he wouldn't get this chance. Oh, but he's not taking it. Wow, that is a real gift now for Ken, just to wrap this up.
8.
Yeah, that is a shocker from Dwayne, to be fair. It was obviously going to come down to the yellow ball, but to miss the red, that is a cardinal sin. Ken will be doing cartwheels coming back to the table, having missed the easy red for himself.
1.
What a massive moment in the context of this match that could be.
Yeah, the worst thing for Dwayne Jones is he got the chance from the unexpected miss from Ken Doherty. He had the chance to really twist the knife in a psychological sense, but that black means he needs 2 snookers, so it's going to be 4-2, you would think. And Dwayne Jones's challenge is wilting a bit. He was 2-1 up, looking good at that stage, made some errors in the 4th frame, hasn't really recovered from that. And Ken Doherty's just done enough. He's mopped up here without really,
10.
as I say, having to do much. (4-2). Ken Doherty's won, 3 on the spin, and Dwayne Jones has got a few problems here. I know that Ken was recently a guest on the Snooker Club. That's the World Snooker Tour official podcast. You can hear new episodes every fortnight with Stephen Hendry, Mark Watson, and a special guest. Lee Dixon, actually, the former Arsenal footballer, will be their guest next week. So if you subscribe to that, you can not miss an episode. Just to confirm, our first winner in this session, Ian Burns, 6-0 over Liam Highfield. A terrific win that for Ian Burns from Preston, which of course is a former venue of the UK Championship, probably the most famous actually going back. And there are still matches to come on later. They will be tonight because they don't want to risk coming on this afternoon and, you know, having to take them off again. So Lucas Kleckers is 5-3 up on Rod Lawler, 5 each Sanderson Lamb and Andy Lee, 4-2 Lou Hongyu over Martin O'Donnell. But that's all going to be resolved at goodness knows what time this evening. A few hardy souls here, as you can see. Of course, there are tickets available for the qualifiers here. It's just £10, and you can come and watch as many matches as you want. A lot of snooker to see. You can go to... Apparently, you can just turn up on the day, but you can also maybe ring up the Morningside just to check. There are tickets available, clearly, so if you're in the area and you want to come and watch some snooker, do come along.
Yeah, and it's great because it's all open planned as well, so as Dave said, it's some great high standard snooker on offer now, all day today, tomorrow, Wednesday and Thursday for the Judgement Day, so get yourselves down here. Some fantastic snooker to be played, some big names involved as well, An absolute steal for that price.
Yeah, and you know, a lot of people think the UK Championship starts on Saturday. It doesn't, of course. It started last Saturday. This is a part of the tournament. It's how we get the 16 qualifiers who will play. They'll be drawn to play the top 16 in the world. And some interesting matches there will be, I think, because, of course, whoever qualifies, they've had some good match play. You know they'll be playing well. And the top 16 coming in a little cold, so there'll be some upsets, I'm sure, next week. But it'll be a fantastic 9 days in York. A really nice setup there now with the 2 tables. There's hospitality as well. The special hospitality from the quarterfinals onwards. So, again, tickets available there if you want to come along. There's not that many left, but you can snap a few up from just £22. Go to the World Snooker Tour website, wst.tv/tickets, and they'll have all the info there. Just waiting for Ken to return. He'll be sensing that the tide has very much turned in his favour here. Dwayne Jones, as I say, standard has dipped. Hamad Mir, meantime, his standard has been good this season. He beat Judd Trump in the British Open, and he's now beaten John Astley 6-1. So he is through to round 3. So Dwayne Jones finds himself a little up against it here. 4-2 down. He's made a few errors. Missed that last red in the previous frame, attempting to make the clearance.
Yeah, the frame before the interval has turned out to be a massive one. That was a steal from Ken on the last red, which sent us into the interval all square at 2 each. Dwayne would have felt he probably should have been 3-1 up at that stage, and all of a sudden now finds himself 4-2 down. He's going to have to dig deep, and that just highlights the psychology of this game, how it can swing as quickly as it has done. Ken will be feeling much the better of the two now, and he's playing quite well.
Michael asking on Twitter, will there be commentary on the Dig match later? There will indeed. Phil and Stephen will be here tonight. It's a tough one. Daniel Wells has had some good results this season. Well, he needed an easy starter and he got one.
Yeah, this is exactly what Dwayne has been looking for. He wants a chance where he can just move the cue ball around just a few inches, a few feet, keep a close white. You know, the first few shots here are going to be key because he's got to get his arm going again somehow. Started the game nicely. He's just dropped off since. And the longer he lets that go on for, the more pressure he's going to find himself under. So needs to try and just take, cliche, but one ball at a time here. Try and just build a small break. Find his rhythm again.
Talking about 50-somethings earlier, and another one going well. Mark Davis 4-2 up on Gao Yang. Of course, Mark thought he'd been relegated from the tour. The World qualifying, he missed the pink 9 each with Joe Perry, just needing it to qualify for the Crucible and keep his tour card. Missed the pink. Joe potted pink and black. It looked like that was it, but then a few weeks later, a few more places were uncovered for the tour because of various suspensions and whatever, and yeah, Mark stayed on. So it was a bit of a roller coaster ride, all of that.
Wants to get himself in and around the black spot here. Couple of positional shots required to do that. The red to the left of the table is stopping the black being pottable into both pockets, so he'll look to try and get on that as soon as possible. Can just stun down the table here, play for 2 reds. One just above and to the left of the black goes into the right corner pocket. If you can finish just off straight, top side of that red, that would be perfect. That's fine as well, so
50.
removing this red opens the black up now. This is what he needed, just a little chance, keep the cue ball close.
60. Twenty-three.
Oh, it's just held on. Wow.
Ken Jones.
It's another missed
23.
red to a corner pocket. Completely out of the blue again, really. Caught, as you see, overcut it, and it shouldn't have dropped, and indeed it didn't.
Yeah, that was poor from Dwayne again. He didn't set himself properly from the black. He in potting the black, he's just dropped down the table to play for the red, and he's actually landed in a little bit of an awkward position where he wanted to be much straighter on that red. It was a careless positional shot, and it's cost him. He had all the room in the world there to land straight or just off straight on the red at the bottom of the table, and just left himself with a little bit too much to do. Yes, he should have still potted the red, but he should have been nicer on it in the first place. All the while, Kenny's going to try and keep that pressure on, because he knows he's got Dwayne on the ropes at the moment.
Nine. Forty.
Well, he'd been leaving this red as a sort of saver, but looks like he's going to have to take it now.
Yeah, and although the red's hanging bang over the pocket, he needs to play a delicate little positional shot here. If he can land perfect on a colour, it's a great frame-winning chance. And that's not perfect. He's a bit closer to the side rail than he would have liked.
Well, played it well in the end. He knows he's on top here,
22.
and whatever mistakes he's made basically have not been significant because they've gone unpunished, so he doesn't have to dwell on them.
Yeah, and it's funny because it has to be said, Ken has made a few mistakes, and as you say, Dwayne hasn't punished him, and
23.
those mistakes that Ken has made will have just been brushed from his memory. He can erase them straight away when you're back to the table in this sort of scenario. It's when you get punished for your mistakes that you sat in your chair, dwelling on what could have been. Ken knows what he's got to do. He's vastly experienced, as we know. And he knows he's got Dwayne bang under it now. So he's got a couple of reds that are available and pottable, and the two in open play will then present a nice path into the little cluster of 4 reds just above the pink, and it's quite a nice little pack to go into, particularly off the blue. Feel any sort of delicate cannon to them and you're going to be on one. Well, he's going to be going into them off the black now. So one good shot here just to open this frame up. Well, I'm very surprised at that shot. I'm not even too sure if he played to drift past the pack there. Surely going into the reds at that pace, you're never going to get on anything. That's a massive misjudgment from Ken.
Ken Doherty, 43.
Yeah, if anything, a little cautious, and he should have to settle again for the safety. 20 in front. Elliot Slessor going really well against Louis Heathcote. Leicester Cuman, of course. Louis 5-1 to Slessor there, and he's well in front actually in frame 7 as well, with a chance to get it won. Three between David Lilly and Sean O'Sullivan.
Good pace on the cue ball. Ken may be able to play this red into the right corner pocket as a shot to nothing, shot to something. Well, he's called it much too thick. Has he got away with it? He's held his hand up, but there is a red available for Dwayne. He may can get enough on the cue ball to pot this into the yellow bag and get back to the black cushion. It's definitely half a chance.
Well, big moment. It's obviously 5-2. You make the Irishman a big favourite. If Dwayne Jones can win this frame, though, we could be in for a pretty tight finish. 20 points in this 7th frame. Oh, terrific pot. Really good.
Yeah, he was walking as soon as he hit that. He knew straight away that that was going in. So, having made a bit of a careless error when he was in a few moments ago, he's back at the table. Needs another good pot on the pink.
47.
Well, he got very close to that red, but he was a little bit further away than he would have liked. Didn't land perfect on the pink to get right in behind that red to make it unmissable, and it proved to be enough. He knew he was not going to leave anything easy for Dwayne.
Touching.
I'm not sure Ken was sure he'd actually hit the red, but if it's touching, he must have done.
Makes a big difference that as well, because touching ball now, Dwayne can try and get the cue ball right in behind the pink on the centre of this cushion. That will put Ken in a little bit of trouble. All about pace, this shot. He could have done with not leaving a shot at this red for Ken, because he can just play a side to side kind of safety. If it had covered that red, Ken may have been forced into taking something on.
Elliot Slessor has won 6-1. He's made a century actually in the last frame. So 104. He actually finished off with 86, 70, 104 to beat Leo Heathcote 6-1. So a terrific win there.
Now then, big shot this. Red to middle. Oh, very close, but not close enough. That was a big shot from Dwayne, and it was a chance.
One. Eight.
Well, he's going to need 2 of the 3 reds here. 35 in front, 51 on.
Nine.
Yeah, and what a difference that cannon to the brown has just made there, because that cue ball was travelling into baulk and he was going to be on nothing had it not cannon the brown and held.
Yeah, at the moment, Jones can only tie. So he's taken the 7 points there. He could force a respot without a snooker. 43 behind, 43 on.
So he's just weighing up his options here. There's a possibility of a double to the right corner, middle pocket, which is not really a shot I'd be taking on at this stage when, as you say, Dwayne needs 2 reds and blacks. Yeah, he sent the red round the angles there, try and keep it tight.
Ken Doherty 16.
Doesn't need to do anything blasé, Ken now, just has to mind his work and try and just keep the pressure on Dwayne.
Yeah, Ken Doherty's got to be careful because none of the colours are safe. If Dwayne Jones did get the chance, then the clearance could be on. There's one safe red now, which he's not interested in moving.
Well, the attempted safety shot back to the behind the pink went drastically wrong for Dwayne, so left the easy chance for Ken. In goes the red, brown to follow, and that's going to be 5-2, and he's going to be on the brink, sorry, of winning this game.
Yeah, the truth is, he made fewer mistakes. I think at times he played very nicely, but he's made fewer mistakes, and Dwayne Jones has not pressed on from the advantage he earned himself. That yellow won't matter. Ken Doherty will require one more to put himself into the penultimate round of qualifying for the MrQ UK Championship. 5-2 it is to the veteran, 3 times runner-up. Still has a big following, and I think one of the reasons was 2. One, because of his record in the game, but also if you see Ken at tournaments, he takes so much time to speak to people and pose for selfies and do all of that stuff that's important, of course, for fans, and will always acknowledge the people who paid their money to come along, and so there'll be a lot of goodwill towards him here. Dwayne Jones, he needs something to change pretty dramatically from his perspective. Just to remind you, if you want to get tickets for next year's UK Championship, there is a pre-sale window you can register for. Tickets available from 9 AM on Saturday, December the 2nd, but you must register by 9 AM on the 1st to make sure you're in the priority window with the first chance to buy tickets, and they do go quickly, so it's well worth doing. You can go to wst.tv for details. There's a form to fill in to register, and you'll be in that priority window with a chance to go to York next year. But as to whether Dwayne Jones will be going there this year, well, it's going to obviously rest on the next few moments, because his game was good. That's the thing, you know, he was playing well at 2-1, but things have rather fallen apart. Can they fall back again?
very attacking safety shot from Ken, choosing to open the reds up. If he'd have got a good cue ball, that would have been a pretty decent shot, but as it happens, the white has travelled. Dwayne was able to get his hand on the table. And well, if he gets the cover from the blue there, what a result he's had. That red has stayed over that left corner pocket, and the double kiss has put Ken in all sorts of trouble. He's going to have to play thick off the two reds, maybe, to get over to the left side of the table. Try and cover that red with the two reds to the left side. Doesn't want to hit the brown. Well, he has done, and has he had a nice flick himself. He has left a red to this right corner. If it's straight, Dwayne will do well to get out of that corner.
One.
Oh, Ken. That's a bad shot, really. Okay, he may feel he should have been a lot nicer on the pink. He left himself hampered over that red. That is a massive let-off for Dwayne Jones. There was signs of frustration from the long red he took on. He played it quite quickly. Didn't really get anywhere near the pot. Left Ken a golden chance and to only make one from there. And well, what has Dwayne Jones played here? Needs to try and regain his composure. Yes, he's frustrated. He's 5-2 down. May feel like he should be in this game a bit more than he is. But he's got to do better from that opportunity.
Dwayne Jones, one.
Yeah, Doherty just not being put under kind of pressure, really. As I say, the story's been that, okay, he's not been flawless. He's played well overall, I think, but his own mistakes have gone unpunished. And when he's given chances, they're not being taken. But he's missed that one by some distance. I mean, there was a lot of cue involved, I know, but be disappointed there not to really threaten the pocket. I guess the best thing about not threatening the pocket is not hanging over the over the lip of it.
Yeah, he bizarrely was nowhere near that red. It was a really poor shot from Ken. He didn't look very comfortable on the shot with all the extensions out and all the tackle on the table, but oh, what a result that is for Dwayne. Can't believe he's held his hand up. Surely he played that.
Well, this is amazing. All these kisses and nudges and, wow, dream result this. Absolute dream result.
Yeah, he's had absolutely no idea where that cue ball's going there. It was such a thin red. He's done well to pot the red, but what a result to land there. And it's moments like these now. He's got to just, as I've said, regain his composure. He has to take this opportunity. He's got to let Ken know that he's still in a game.
Up 8. $15.
Well, it's such a good chance he has to take it, doesn't he? If he doesn't, then he may well open the door for Ken Doherty to win the match. So, Dwayne Jones, it's in his hands, and if he can make a nice break, then that may just get his confidence back up, and who knows, we've seen plenty of matches turn around from here before. Last night, actually, Michael White, of course, was in trouble against Mick Nutcheret, who led 5-2, but fought back to 5 each and then had to come back hours later, and it's a right old scramble. He won on the last pink, 6-5.
Yeah, and the longer Dwayne keeps this game going, he's always got a chance. And it's important for him to try and just remember that and stay present out there. We've seen signs of frustrations already. He's got to try and just blank that out. This is a golden chance now.
31.
It's not so much about, you know, him taking these balls, because on a practice table it would be bread and butter for him to mop these up. It's the message it's sending to Ken, you know, if you're gonna make a mistake, I'm gonna pounce. He needs to let him know that he's still in a game. Such an important contribution this from Dwayne Jones. Of course, to stay in the match as well.
$39.
I think he's been more in a battle with himself, Dwayne, because we've already mentioned it was a big frame before the interval, and he probably would have felt a little bit hard done by. He didn't come out of that early session with a lead at least. And then he's almost been toying with his emotions and fighting against himself, possibly trying a little bit too hard, feeling that he should have been in front and he wasn't. And all the while, Ken's just been picking off from the small errors that Dwayne has been making.
$52. $53.
So, not much more to do. Blue will put him 58 points in front, and with a red and a colour, should make it 5-3. So this is, if you're going to miss one, it'll be this one, I guess. But I don't think it'll happen. He's taken these nicely. Yeah, nicely done.
59. $66. $67.
Yeah, every credit to Dwayne Jones here. He's found some composure and he's taken these nicely. This will make him feel a little bit better, at least. He's got to just try and stick in there, try and stay with Ken. Because Ken is making mistakes.
75.
And he's just got to capitalise when it comes. It's easier said than done.
Yeah, and also use the bit of fortune when it came along. He got on that black, didn't he, after the first red? Incredible, really, how he landed on it. But then it's about, okay, it's gone my way. I've got to use that to my advantage, and that's what he's done here.
82.
Doesn't matter about that. A fine 82 from Dwayne Jones. He was 2-1 up, playing well. He started to make errors. Ken Doherty took advantage, but in this frame he got in, and that 82 keeps the match alive. 5-3. Ken Doherty still needs one more frame for victory, and as I say, we've seen enough matches turn around to know this is far from done yet. A little shake of the head from Ken, who did have a chance himself. Remember, he went for the red to the yellow pocket. It looked like actually he hadn't left it, but it was a very thin cut. Dwayne Jones knocked it in, and then somehow with all those kisses and nudges and knocks landed on the black and went on with the 82 to win the frame. Another 50-something. Mark Davis is 5-3 up in his match against Gao Yang, although that Gao Yang has just won the 8th frame similarly there, actually with an 82 as well, so pretty much identical to what happened here. And lots of matches still going on. We have had 3 results in this session. We've had victories for Elliot Slessor, Ian Burns and Hamad Mir. And Craig Steadman ploughing on, 4-1 up now against Aaron Hill. Scott Donaldson 3-2 up against Rory Thor. And 4-3 David Lilly over Sean O'Sullivan. Tonight, 7 o'clock, Ding Junhui Daniel Wells will be our main match here on table 1. We've also got Noppen Senkam in action, Ricky Walden against Marco Fu. That's a tasty one on table 3. Sijal Wee against Michael White. All those matches available on Discovery Plus, where there is, of course, live sport for everyone, including the rest of the UK Championship, including the final on Discovery Plus. You can watch lots of other top sporting events, including next year's Olympic Games or the tennis Grand Slams, cycling Grand Tours, a lot more besides. Hilda Mowens just enjoying a little refreshment as she's entitled to. These are long days for the referees, aren't they? You know, some of these matches. I was talking to one of the refs upstairs. He'd done a 1 AM finish, was back on at 9:30 the next morning. So it's pretty brutal for the officials also. In these best of 11s, we've had each day so far, matches have had to come back on later on, so you're guaranteed a late night because you don't know what time you're going to start. Could be going on sort of 9:30, 10 o'clock to play potentially 5 or 6 frames.
Yeah, it was quite funny earlier. I was chatting to Tatiana Wollaston just after her husband Ben Wollaston won his game, and she was saying about the situation with matches that, you know, are pulled off and come back later. As an official out there, you're kind of willing that your game doesn't finish early on the evening session, because if you're the referee in charge of a match that comes off early, it's your job to then officiate the one that comes back later. And as you say, they can go on till the early hours. We've seen some really long late matches Just adds to the drama here. There's always drama.
Yeah, and I know one player who had won a match and tried to extend his hotel, and the hotel was full up. But had he lost today, he wouldn't have mattered. But now, of course, he's coming. I won't say who it is, but you can probably work it out looking at the earlier matches. He's now having to arrange a hotel because obviously not until late tonight. So it's all this going on in the background as well as the snooker. Anyway, Dwayne Jones has won that last frame. So 5-3 it is to Ken Doherty, and there's still the potential for 3 more frames. But we do have a winner of our competition. We asked you to tell us how many venues there have been for the final stages, the televised phase of the UK Championship over the years. Ken Doherty taking that red on, getting close to it. The answer is 6, and so we started at the Tower Circus, it moved to Preston Guildhall, then the Bournemouth International Centre, then the first staging at York Barbican. He had to leave there because it closed for a few years, so it went to the Telford International Centre. And the other venue, of course, which maybe slipped a few minds, was the Marshall Arena in Milton Keynes because of COVID. So 6 venues. Congratulations to Ryan Chatfield from Hereford. Ryan Chatfield from Hereford, congratulations, you've won those tickets. Could be another competition tonight as Dwayne Jones overcuts that one.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity to bag yourself a couple of tickets for the UK Championships next week. As Dave say, we've got some available in the evening session tonight as well, so stay with us with our live coverage here because we're going to be giving away another couple of tickets. A lot of sessions have already sold out for the UK next week, so definitely worth chucking your name in the hat for those. And again, another mistake from Ken. Tried to swerve that, misjudged it, and look at the cannons. Presented Dwayne with a great chance now. He's got to keep clinging on to the hope that something's going to turn, and from what we've seen so far, things may be starting to. Just got to try and do his best to take every opportunity that comes his way. Such fine margins at this level. You're just looking for slight chances to get in, slight signs that your opponent is showing weakness.
Yeah, I mean, best of 11s can be quite long matches, and there's definite moments where one player can be on top and then the momentum shifts, and it feels like it has shifted back to Dwayne Jones. Ken Doherty not looking quite so assured now. So there's an opportunity here for the Welshman to turn the screw, put pressure on, make this match even closer. Oh, you saw that was not on target.
Queen
We had the
Jones.
perfect view of it there, didn't we? So Ken Doherty gets his chance here. Never looked into me.
No, it was always high, that pink, so the chance has fallen, and it's one that Ken desperately needs, because he has started to show signs of weakness in these last couple of frames. Now he himself has to try and just find a little bit of composure, just regain the focus that he's had in previous frames. This is a fairly good chance now. A few open reds. Nice pack to try and get into at some stage.
Seven. Eight.
So decision time for Ken. Can play a little floaty cannon, but it's quite delicate. Maybe worth trying to just go into this pack full-blooded. Try and get the reds moving. You're never quite sure where they're going to finish, but he does have a red at the bottom of the pack that he may land on. Well, I don't think he's landed on anything.
15.
Again, the way he's attacked that pack wasn't really convincing. It was a bit of a flat back pack, so going into them at that sort of pace wasn't really going to get them moving.
Penalty 50.
Yeah, so not much damage done to Dwayne Jones. Mr. Pink is only 2 points behind as he comes back to the table. Oh, he just kept running.
44.
Oh dear. That is a careless one from Dwayne, because Ken can have a go at this red, and it's a bit of a free shot now. And it is another chance for him. He was under no pressure there to get that cue ball on this top cushion. This is a big shot for Ken. Yeah, very nicely played. Cued it nice. Needs that cue ball to run on, and it has just. Good pot. As I say, it was a free shot. That was very careless from Dwayne. Now, can Ken take advantage of that mistake?
Well, you can see the sort of
8.
look of slight pain on his face. He played the attacking shot, has just lost the cue ball. Still a couple of potential reds on, but nothing easy. Another great shot. Really good, well cued shot that.
Fantastic pot. Committed fully to it. It was a cueing shot. He had to play it nicely, and he did do. Really well played.
There's definitely a red that pots to this left corner.
He's been chasing this break just a fraction. He needs to play just one good shot here. Pot this red, get nicely on a colour. And he hasn't done. He's got the pot,
17.
just wanted to avoid the little kiss on the pink. So now he's going to have to play another good shot.
Green up.
If he's taking this green on, this is a massive, massive shot. No, I can't blame him for that, especially using the rest, bridging over a couple of balls. Cut off the right side of the table, which has made things a little trickier for Dwayne.
Well, as you say, the trap was set, and now it's about reaping rewards, and this is a good chance. He's 23 in front as he comes to the table. Chance to win the match here. But there's pressure on these, you know, he's not had the best of seasons, only a couple of, or 3 first round matches won. This is a big tournament. He's got a lot of memories for Ken Doherty. Those big finals he played, I mentioned earlier today. Stephen Hendry, Ronnie O'Sullivan, Mark Williams he played in UK finals. And already here he's put himself under it, white on the side cushion.
And that shot right there just shows you how Ken's feeling. Look at how much he's got into that cue ball. That was just adrenaline. He knew it was his chance. He's definitely feeling it out there, is Ken. As you say, he's had a struggle this season, and these are vital ranking points for him as well. Oh, and he's missed the red. What a difference that could make. And it's moments like these that are just going to keep building and building that tension out there for Ken. He's had a couple of chances now, and when you're out there, you think, how can it possibly go wrong from here? And just one over-hit positional shot, put yourself under it, and he's missed the red. What can Dwayne do?
Well, there's the one safe red on the left-hand side cushion, which is going to come into play. Yeah, he didn't leave this easy, actually. Yeah, well, he left it a bit like Doherty before. I mean, it wasn't on the cushion, but he left it slightly awkward cueing. Well, Ken Doherty's birthday was in September, but this is a belated gift that has been handed. Can he take this chance? Useful lead, so he won't need that safe red on the cushion. All the cards are stacked in his favour here to get this one, but there's pressure on. Winning still means a lot to Ken, I know that, and so these moments, there's a little bit of anxiety there he's got to control.
Yeah, anything is missable at this stage. We've already seen that. Dwayne unable to capitalise on his opportunity to really put Ken under even more pressure than he clearly is already feeling. And again, just when you want to finish just off straight on the blue, you land right in the middle of both to being perfect on the brown or the blue. He's got to play another good shot here.
.36 in front, so
13.
if you could take a red and a black, then Dwayne Jones would need a snooker. So it's 2 well-cued pots needed effectively to win.
14.
Trail 2-1, and he was struggling a little bit at that point. Dwayne Jones, maybe more accurately, was playing well. Ken Doherty made the 95 in frame 5. This black effectively match ball. No positional ambition there, just get the points on the board and worry about the playing for snookers later. 44 in front,
21.
43 on, so barring a snooker, Ken Doherty's in the penultimate round of qualifying for the UK Championship. Chris Wakelin will be next.
Ken Doherty, 21.
Big target in behind the green for Dwayne. Of course, he needs reds and black. We'll try and leave one red on the table, you would feel, eventually. Doesn't want to go in off. Oh dear.
Oh, well, that's not quite shake hands time, but his task obviously a lot harder now. It's points that you just can't afford to give away, and if Ken can knock this in, it's all over for good.
Yeah, and you have to say it's another careless one from Dwayne. You've got to hit that shot thick, if anything. He's trying to come off the baulk cushion and get in behind the green. You cannot hit that thin and going off, and he has done. He'll be disappointed, Dwayne, because he has shown signs that he is playing well at the moment, but there's just been a few errors that have just cost him, and if anything, he's maybe just lost the battle with himself. There's a lot of emotions out there, there's a lot at stake. There is still a glimmer of hope in this frame, though. If he can lay a really tough snooker here,
7.
he's at least asking the question, but it's got to be a tough one, you feel.
Ben Jones, 7.
Well, that little flick on the blue has made this into a snooker, I think. Little swerve from Ken Doherty. It's going to be tough, this, because even if he gets a good snooker, I mean, Ken is so experienced at every sort of bit of table craft you can think of, really. But he wants that red in, that's for sure, because things can happen the longer this goes on.
Yeah, and he's not had a bad result there, really. That green and black was in a nice position for Dwayne, but he's missed the red by such a distance. He's cannoned into him and put them both safe. So yeah, very tall order now for Dwayne.
Well, this could be it. Chance to put this away once and for all. And in it goes. So Ken Doherty, at the age of 54, the 3 times runner-up in the UK Championship, has put himself within 1 round of reaching Judgment Day. 2 rounds away from the final stages in York. He's beaten Dwayne Jones by 6 frames to 3. Dwayne Jones played really good stuff before the interval, then the mistakes crept in, Ken Doherty's best frame, the 5th. He made a 95. He got a bit edgy towards the end, but the veteran Dubliner has done it, and we will see him for more tomorrow. That concludes the action on table 1. It's 7:30, so about an hour and 45 minutes for the big match tonight here, live with Phil and Stephen, Ding Junhui and Daniel Wells. It'll be an interesting one. Ding, of course, has been pulled back into the qualifiers, 3 times UK champion, runner-up last year to Mark Allen. As Ken Doherty gives a little wave there to the members of the audience who came along to watch. Do join Phil and Stephen for that at 7:30 local time. There are other matches that are continuing, but that's it for table 1. So thanks for being with us this afternoon. It's been very entertaining stuff so far. More to come tonight. But for now, from the whole team here in Leicester, it's goodbye.
Okay.